Green bean casserole is one of the most highly requested side dishes during the holidays. My recipe is completely made from scratch to maximize flavor. Plus, I've got time-saving tips to help for quicker preparation. Let's get started. I've washed 2 pounds of fresh green beans. Now I'm going to trim the ends and cut them into 2-inch sized pieces. I usually like to line them up like this to make it easier to just trim off the little tips. And then from here, cut them into the smaller pieces. I like to cut them into these bite-sized pieces because it's so much easier to serve and scoop out and eat. I know that traditional green bean casserole recipes uses canned green beans, but I just don't like how mushy they are. Using fresh is so much healthier and you get that nice, crisp, tender texture. Now that we have the green beans prepared, let's go head over to the stove and cook them. Set the oven rack to the center position. Preheat to 425 degrees. In a large pot, bring 3 quarts of water to a boil over high heat. Add in 1 teaspoon of salt and stir to dissolve. I'm going to cook the beans using a method I learned in culinary school called Blanch and Shock. Cooking the beans in boiling hot water is going to quickly tenderize the cell walls and soften them. It's also going to take the dull chlorophyll that's inside the plant and turn it bright green, so keep a close eye on that. Also, we're going to then take the cooked beans and shock it in ice cold water. That's going to stop the color change and stop the cooking. Add 2 pounds of cut green beans to the boiling water and cook until crisp tender, about 3 to 4 minutes. Now we're going to do a little check. The beans are nice bright green, tender with a little bit of crispiness. Now I'm going to take it over to the sink, drain it, and transfer the beans to an ice water bath. Drain the beans and transfer to a large bowl filled with ice water. Chill until the vegetables are cool, about 5 minutes, then drain well. The beans have been cooked and now chilled. You could actually put them in the refrigerator for up to 3 days to make prep so much easier on the day that you're ready to serve the green bean casserole. So we're going to set this aside, and we're now going to make the mushroom sauce. I have 1 pound of brown mushrooms, and we're just going to trim off little stems and cut them into a 1/2 inch thick slices. When the mushrooms cook, they're going to start to condense because they're full of water, so that's why I like to cut them a little bit thicker. I know it's really easy to just grab a can of the condensed mushroom soup to make the sauce, but it's packed with sodium and additives like monosodium glutamate, and it's really easy to actually make it from scratch, so we're gonna do that instead. Now that the mushrooms are sliced, let's go make the sauce. Heat a large skillet with high sides over medium heat. Add 3 tablespoons of butter to the pan. Once melted, add 1 tablespoon minced garlic and saute for 30 seconds. Add 1 pound of sliced mushrooms, 1 teaspoon salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon pepper. Stir to combine. Saute until the mushrooms release their moisture, the liquid evaporates, and the vegetables become tender, about 5 minutes. Add 3 tablespoons of flour, stir and cook for 1 minute. Gradually add in 1½ cups of chicken stock, continually stirring to combine. Bring the stock to a rapid simmer over medium-high heat and cook until slightly thickened, about 4 minutes. Reduce the heat to medium and add 1½ cups of heavy cream. Simmer until the sauce thickens, occasionally stirring for 5 minutes. Stir in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon pepper, and 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. Turn off the heat and season to taste. Stir in the cooked green beans. Wow, this looks incredible. The green beans suspended in that creamy mushroom sauce is amazing. We're just gonna add it to a 13 by 9 inch baking dish and just evenly spread it in the pan. Ooh, it smells so good. We're going to bake this in the preheated oven until it's nice and hot and bubbly for about 10 minutes. And then once it's done, just make sure to cover it with foil to keep it warm. To make the crispy fried onion topping, you're gonna need 1 small yellow onion, and then just trim off the top part and just a little bit of the root, and then peel the onion because you're going to want to keep them into rings. Okay, and I like to cut a little just notch off so it's a little bit easier for you to slice the onion. We want to cut these into thin slices about 1/8 inch thick. This size is going to ensure really nice, thin, crispy bites. I know that people love onion rings, and this is kind of like what this is, but you don't want it to be too thick and overpowering. And if you have a mandolin, that works well too. And I like to use these smaller rings on the inside because they're gonna fry up a little bit quicker and give you nice little crunchy bites. And you can just save these other pieces of onion for something later. Now we're going to make the coating. To make a standard breading, I'm going to use 1/2 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And just whisk that together. I like to use a 1/2 and 1/2 combination of flour and cornstarch because if you just use flour, the gluten that's formed is gonna make a really thick and heavy coating. We want the texture to be light and crispy, so adding cornstarch, which doesn't have gluten, gives you that right balance. And then we want to add egg, 2 large eggs that we whisk together. And the egg acts as like a little bit of a glue or binder so that the coating sticks on. Okay, to coat the onions, the first thing you're going to do is dip it in the flour and cornstarch mixture first. Just turn it over a couple times. And then into the egg mixture. And then back in to that flour and cornstarch mixture. So you have a nice thick coating. For convenience, you could also use the packaged fried onion topping, but this way just tastes so much better, and people really love freshly fried onion rings. In a medium saucepan or sauté pan, add 1 cup of vegetable oil. Heat over medium heat until the oil reaches between 350 to 360 degrees. Fry the breaded onion rings in batches until both sides are light golden brown and crispy, about 2 minutes per side. Transfer the onion rings to a paper towel lined baking sheet to drain any excess oil. Fry just enough onions to cover the casserole. Oh man, these look so good. We have the hot casserole ready to go, so we're just gonna add the onion pieces right on top. Now this is the gourmet version of green bean casserole, and I know that there's a lot of other quicker methods and using convenience products, but I guarantee that this is gonna taste so much better. And it's ready to serve right away. I definitely would serve it immediately so that the onions stay nice and crispy. For more holiday side dishes, I would definitely serve this with my homemade mashed potatoes right here. I hope you enjoyed learning the science behind green bean casserole, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up. It means a lot when you do. See you in the next video. Saved a couple onion pieces for myself.